If you're interested to learn the new set 4.5, but you do not know which comp to play, you want to get top 4 each game, but you do not know how, you came to the right place. Hello, I am Dr. Hades, a future doctor in physics, and today I will show you how to play Divine Executioner Kayle, an extremely flexible comp but in the same time very powerful. Kayle was and still is an S tier comp. In this video we will talk about the general composition of Divine Executioner Kayle, best chosens to have, itemization, early, mid and late game, and last but not least positioning, which after all is probably the most important. Starting with the composition, I would like to say there are multiple ways to play Kayle and that you have to adapt on each game. Each game you will get a different chosen, so let's say you will get an executioner chosen, then of course playing 4 executioner is a must, while having Yumi for spirit, Shen for mystic, together with Irelia for adept and divine, which means you have 2 more spots open that can go with 2 more divine champions as Jax and Lysine in case you need more damage, or 2 vanguards with Aatrox and Sejuani if you need to be more tanky. You can get Yone for free adapt in case you go to level 9. The second way to play Kayle is when you go divine chosen. So here is a little bit more tricky because in this case I think having 6 divine is your main target with Kayle, Irelia, Jax, Lysine and Wukong together with Shen, Yubi and Kindred. You can go free executioner in case you get to level 9. The difference between 2 and 4 executioners will probably be balanced by the 6 divine bonus through damage. Sometimes you can also play Kayle when you get an adept chosen, but then you definitely need to play Irelia, Shen and Yone for 4 adept together with Kayle of course, Yumi for mystic, Kindred for spirit and executioner, together with Aatrox, Sejuani combo, or 2 more divine like Jax and Lysine. As I said, these comps are very flexible, so you can adapt your team depending on your chosen and the units you have available. And now let's talk about the best chosens for this comp late game. We will definitely start with Executioner Kayle as the best one for sure. Next will be either of the other 2 Executioner chosens and Divine Kayle. Third will be probably any of the Adapt chosens, but you can also play Vanguard Aatrox or Sejuani, but in that case you might have to go for Vanguards, maybe with a Vanguard special item on Kayle. Mystic chosen Yubi is not that recommended, but it is viable in some of the situations, like when you are playing against a lot of mage players or dragon soul players, and in that case you will go for 4 mystic. As you might already see, this is for sure one of the most flexible comps that there is in the game right now, and still one of the most efficient. Items are very clear for this comp. You definitely want 2 bow items on Kayle, like rapid fire cannon, rage bait. Also static shift can be viable, but I recommend having also a 3rd defensive item like Guardian Angel, Quicksilver or Trap Claw. Sometimes also Dragon Claw can be good. Here is an example for the Kayle itemization. Rage Blade, Rapid Fire Cannon and Quicksilver will definitely do the job great. At any point into the game you can build Ziggs or Chalice because they are definitely will be used in late game, so do not miss the chance to build them. Very good tank items for this comp are Sunfire Capes, Bramble Vast, Dragon's Claw and so on, that can go on either of your tanks. Shen, Aatrox, Sejuani, even Yone can get those items. If you're enjoying the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Executioner Divine Kayle is definitely a late game comp and it's composed of only 3+ tier units, which means you'll have to run different comps early game to make sure you remain with the most HP possible, but in the same time having the most gold possible while getting at level 8. So here are some very good examples for early game. Brawlers seem to be a very good comp early game, especially with a Shyvana that can carry your Kayle items, Dragon Soul with Shyvana or Tristana. Also Cultists can be very good, where even Sivir or Kalista can carry the Kayle items. The same thing we can talk about Duelist. But lately Keepers are performing amazingly early to mid game, so Keepers together with Sivir is also good. But anyhow, any start that you can find that will ensure your safe pass to mid game with a lot of gold is okay to play. Adapt on the game and see where it gets. If your team is not doing well, no problem. At 3-2 you will level up and roll down to stabilize to stop your lose strike and HP loss. This is the moment you are practically entering the mid game But if you are in a win streak with the comp you already have, do not change it until late game. As I said, you do not need to run the late units before. Your main goal is actually to get late with most HP and economy possible. If you get Kayle, Shen, Irelia, Kindred in your shop, but you cannot use it, no problem, keep it on your bench, but make sure you do not miss econ for that, as gold later into the game is very important. If you're having a bad chosen and you want to improve your team, any point of the game you should sell and roll for a better chosen, keeping in mind the best chosens for this comp. Preparing for late game, if you are losing a lot until 4-1, this is the moment you have to go level 7 and roll down for your units. Stabilizing at 7 is a must in the case of a very bad mid game. If you are in a very good situation, you can just wait and roll down at level 8, which usually happens at 5-1. But you can get level 8 from 4-5 depending on how rich or poor you are at the moment into the game. So usually you go for level 8 and roll after if you have more than 65 HP at this moment of the game and you still have 40 plus gold after you level up to 7. Of course, these are just some approximate numbers as you have to adapt each game on the situation you encounter. Getting at level 8 is the moment you have to see if you will roll down or you can still wait to go level 9. This actually happens when you already hit all the units and chosen you need naturally in the shop and you still have a lot of HP left in case your team will fall down in stage 5. Level 9, if you do not have Executioner chosen or Kayle chosen, I recommend selling the chosen you have and search for a 5 cost unit chosen that suits your team like Lee Sin or Yone, but also you will get a higher chance to get tier 4 units chosen. I hope you're still with me because we are about to talk about positioning, which probably is the most important part of this comp. Positioning according to your enemies is probably the only thing that will help you win the game or not. The most common positioning is with Kayle in a corner, with Yuumi, Kindred and Xayah surrounding Kayle and protecting her from assassins and giving her time to do her damage. When we are talking about our front line, we have two common situations. The first one, when playing for Divine, you will want to put Lee Sin directly on the right, because like that he will CC the entire enemy map with his kick, while Irelia and Jax will stun and disarm the nearest enemy frontliners, preventing them from attacking, and Shen will be positioned in the middle just to make sure he is taking the most damage possible. Everything your frontline does is to protect Kayle. The second situation is when you're playing the combo Aatrox Sejuani, then you will want to position something like this. In order for Aatrox to pull any possible enemies around Kayle, giving her safe pass to kill the entire enemy board, while Sejuani will AoE stun the enemies. Everything other units should do when playing Kayle is to keep Kayle alive in order for her to do all the damage possible, but keep in mind if we switch Kayle corner to switch Aatrox on the opposite side. Here's where we conclude the video, so keep in mind the flexibility of this comp, which means it's a comp to master, because you do not need certain units to hit, so your comp can be a top 4 one. With multiple chosen possibilities and unit possibilities, just remember the general composition, chosens, itemization and positioning. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay in school and play some more TFT. See ya!